Hello and welcome back. Welcome to the Any Revs UK, all things New England Revolutions from a UK perspective. Just want to thank you guys so much for the support on the first podcast. And obviously thank you to the new guys that followed as well over on SoundCloud. I will look to try and get this on other platforms if I can figure out how it's done, but at the moment I just haven't got a clue because I'm still a complete noob when it comes to all this podcasting. But yeah, thank you for your support and suggestions and feedback. It was really, really great. Thank you. Obviously, massive shout out to the guys over at Six States One Podcast. You guys are, basically you're kind of what I'm, aiming to kind of get to the level that you guys are. Thank you for obviously taking the time to listen to the podcast as well. Really, really appreciate that. Also, shout out goes to the Revolution recap as well. The guys over there haven't produced anything. Obviously, they've been working on their website. Fortunately, now. Any Soccer Today has unfortunately no longer with us, but they've decided to reboot their old podcast series, which I listened to the first episode. It was really good, and can't wait for them to obviously get that up and running again and weekly episodes from them guys. So yeah, the New England Revolution content team at the moment, I think it's on and up. And if you've got any kind of content that you want me to read or watch or listen to, make sure you kind of send me links over on the Twitter sphere. We are on Twitter now. It's AnyRevsUK to @AnyRevsUK. If you are on YouTube, just you won't be able to drop any of the links on YouTube because you can't, because that's just spam, unfortunately. But yeah, just go follow us over on Twitter. Make sure you drop us your link. I'll be sure to read, watch, and listen as much as I can do. We are obviously on YouTube as well. It's Just Mike Plays. The I is replaced by a 1 in Mike. That's where you kind of be listening to the podcast, also watching. I don't know what I'll be putting in the background this week. Hopefully nothing as psychedelic as what I put in last week. I'll kind of have a look at what to put something better in place, because that was a bit weird. To be fair, I got to admit to myself. But yeah, thank you guys so much for the support on the first one. It was above and beyond kind of what I expected, and obviously I've got 4 new followers as well. So that's really, really. I don't know, 3 new followers because one of the followers is it's me. I'm one of the followers, but 3 followers. That's, I think, pretty impressive considering I'm starting from scratch. But I think over 33 people have listened to it as well. So really, really pleased with that. And yeah, obviously, thank you for all the feedback. As I said, this guys over at Six States One Podcast. Yes, thank you so much. So in today's, we're talking about a little bit about social media, the revolution on social media as well. Some people have slightly annoyed me. We're also going to be talking about obviously kind of running through the team and obviously the game obviously against Philadelphia. We're going to be going through like player by player, kind of what I thought of each player, kind of rating them as well throughout the game. We're then also going to be talking obviously about the kind of formation as well as what I think they should be playing in the next game, and obviously predictions on that as well as kind of just what my feelings and thoughts are on Brad's philosophy in that first game. So first of all, onto social media. Obviously, I'm fairly new to the Revolution as such, as a well, not really as a fan, but really kind of getting involved with the whole social media side of the Revolution fan base here on Twitter, really more than anything. And yeah, obviously, I am actually, I'm a Leeds United fan at heart. That's the team that I support in European football. But when it comes to American soccer, Revolution is my team. And I always kind of thought that Leeds United fans, generally there's a massive handful of us that are amazing over on social media. They're always kind of trying to G up the team and always looking for the positives and things. And when the team kind of needs them, they're there for them. It's that kind of mentality. And there's the odd one or two, and it's especially at the moment of the poor run of form we're on, it's a lot of negativity out there, and rightfully so. The team aren't performing. It's right to be negative when you're on such a barren run. It's one win in the whole of 2018. That just for a team of Leeds stature is just not good enough. We had great form going into the start of it. I just don't know where that's gone. But from a Revolution point of view, this I was seeing 45 minutes in. We're only even 45 minutes into the season. Yes, we all know what happened. Tony got a red card. That happened. But I've seen people saying, I've seen it all before. The season's over, and I even seen some people tweeting out that Brad Friedel should go. And I thought, that really is that where we're going now? I just didn't think it. I'm not saying it's a toxic kind of mentality, but just how can you jump to that conclusion? We see pre-season, a lot of people were impressed, including me, with kind of what Brad was trying to build here. You cannot, after one. Yes, fair enough. It was very disappointing, and there was a few positives to take away from it, but obviously a lot of negatives as well. and we'll go into that in a little bit of detail in a moment. But to be saying on social media that the season's over after 45 minutes of soccer, and to say that Friedel should, how can you tell me that Brad Friedel should walk after that? This man is trying to do something here. He's completely changing, a philosophy. He's bringing his own brand of football. It's not going to click straight away. It's not. The pre-season, I think you saw certain things that were working, but we've got to give him time. We've got to give him time. And I've always said that, when your team is down, that is when it needs the fans the most. And if you're just going to be negative, completely, that's not what the team needs. When your team goes a goal down or a man down, that is when it needs the supporters the most to kind of get back on. I've seen it happen at Ellen Road a few times in Leeds. When it almost is that 12th man, the amount of noise that the fans make to kind of get them back into a game, it has won us points. I've seen it happen. So for me, just really 45 minutes and the season's over. I just absolutely shocked. Even at the 90-minute mark, that's not the season over. We've lost the first game. Other teams are doing it as well. Sir Alex Ferguson, one of the best managers in the game of football, did not have the best of time in his first season at Manchester United. But Manchester United stuck by him because they could see what he was trying to do, see what he was trying to build, see what philosophies he was trying to instill. Bringing up he just had this, thing about him. And I'm not saying that, Brad Friedel's going to be the next Alex Ferguson by any stretch of imagination. But you've got to give him time. And that's my rant over on that one. So yeah, just please, guys, just give him time. You can see what he's trying to do. And for me, I think it's going to work. I do think it's going to work. He's trying to get the right players in. I don't think this season isn't going to be the season that we're possibly even going to challenge for the MLS Cup. It's not. I don't think it's going to happen. But, it's going to be a 2 or 3 year plan. Hopefully, we've got to start looking at the youth system as well. That seems to be in an absolute disarray at the moment. I'm not too sure what's going on with that, but that needs to be looked at really in detail. And where's the next batch coming through? You can't always just rely. Obviously the draft will get you 1 or 2 players, and potentially one of them might be decent every now and again. But we've got the academy there for a reason. There should be the scouts out there. Well, this is one thing of going into completely off on a tangent. The scouting system in America, I don't understand it. That's the one thing I don't really understand. And they should be picking up these players from such a young age now that we should know who we're getting in an academy. I don't know. It's just that part of American football, soccer. Sorry, it baffles me a little bit. It just seems that teams are willing to take the lottery pick on the draft as being the big next thing, and it's how often. It does work. Obviously, it does work. Players do come out of the draft and do really, really well. But yeah, I don't know. We need to know what's that next progression. Where's the next players come from? Them academy players should be the ones pushing for that starting spot. We should be seeing them playing the same formation, the same philosophy. They should be basically, if a player becomes injured and there's a spot on the roster, they should be able to fill that position, know exactly what's expected of them, know exactly kind of what position to play, what they're going to be doing during the match. It should just be identical, like for like. If Caldwell goes injured, you should have a replacement that is basically moulded exactly like Scott Caldwell in the Revolution ranks already there in the youth academy. That's how it should be. And I'm kind of hoping and I'm thinking that's what Brad's going to try and build here, but we've got to give him time. So to say Brad out and the season's over after 45 minutes or even the 90 minutes is absolutely ridiculous, and I just can't accept it. So rant over, done. We're done in that part. Now let's go on to the game against Philadelphia. Yes, we lost 2-0. We had 2 red cards. That's just not acceptable. That is not acceptable. But saying that, I do think there was some positives to take away from it. Teal Bunbury, he's never been a player that's overly impressed me, but to be fair, when he actually was put up top, I do think he was actually more effective than Juan Agudelo was when he was in that position. Even when we went down to 9 men, I think he was slightly more effective. People are always worried now. There's talk of a Nemeth trade as well. Are we going to lose Nemeth? What options that give us up front? Then we've got Bunbury and Wright, and maybe Femi. I don't know. It's not a lot of depth there for me if we were to trade Nemeth, and I can't really understand the idea about trading Nemeth out because we don't need the international spot, or maybe we do. I don't know what Brad's planning, but it doesn't look like we need the international spot. Yes, he's 30. I suppose it depends what we're trading him for. If it's TAM or allocation money, general allocation money, then yeah, I don't really know. But we've spent a bit of money on getting him. Was it 400k? I think it was. Yes, he's 30 now. I still think he's got a good season or two in him for the Revolution. I do think he could be key this season, to be fair, as well. So unless we're getting a player of equal or better caliber in for him, which I don't see happening, I'm not really too sure about what the kind of reasoning behind that one is. Um, but yeah, for me though, that's going off completely on a tangent. But that news kind of only just broke recently, so kind of squeezed it into the notes here. I didn't really add a place into it. So, but Bunbury, I did think he was quite effective at top. He did actually, yeah, he did actually impress me. Obviously, he had 4 shots as well. That's the most out of any player. He had more than Agudelo did, and yeah, I think it wasn't terrible. I don't think him on the right. I don't think he was effective at all. And to be fair, I would have actually have rather that I would have took Bunbury off. Um, when obviously we did need to bring on a defender, but obviously they took Pannier off, which I thought he looked fairly, up for the game, and he was producing a bit of magic. And I kind of thought that it was a bit of a weird decision for me, but obviously Brad, for whatever reason, chose that. And who's saying that Pinea couldn't have gone on and had an awful game? But I do think when Bunbury went up top, I do think he did play well. Um, Obviously, kind of things to talk about. Just I'll go through player by player in a while. I just want to talk about the match as a whole. Obviously, I think we only had about 8 shots to Philadelphia's 21. That just isn't good enough. But when you're playing for the majority of the game with 10 men, it's going to be hard to get shots off. I kind of think that when Agudelo went through, one of the keeper and I'm not too sure who the Philadelphia defender was. Apologies, managed to come back. I just think that just showed he's not got the confidence at the moment, because that should have been one touch out from his feet and just he should have took the shot. He just dwelled on the ball too much. And I think as a whole, the team we just lost possession far too often, far too easily, um, and we just dwelled and just took far too many touches on the ball. It was almost like all of the preseason confidence had just gone due to that red card. Because before the red card, I think there was some slightly snappy passing and it seemed to be going all well. But then it's almost a mentality of we lost the man. They weren't pressing as high. You've seen that instantly. I don't know if that was a thing that Brad told them, but they dropped their pressing line down. They were taking far too many touches on the ball, almost like they weren't too sure where to go. But that shouldn't have been the case. It should have been, it's almost like they should have been in the mindset of it shouldn't affect the way they're playing. There is a man down, yes, so there's going to be, potentially, but going forward, that really, you should just be still looking in the same positions that where the players are. It should just be kind of second nature, but they just seem to be taking that one touch too many times, losing possessions far too easily. For me, we did seem to kind of prefer the right hand side as well. So I did see a lot of it was going down Bunbury's side from Farrell to Bunbury, and obviously by when he came on. But it did seem like that we did seem to kind of prefer that kind of right hand side as well. So I'm not too sure that was a thing that we were aiming to do, but it did seem that we also tried a lot of through balls, which again I think that was possibly just due to the fact that it was down to 10 men. That I think we were just trying to get that ball through to the striker. Kind of in one quick sweep really of a movement. It was just through ball after through ball after through ball, which isn't a bad thing. But when their defense looked pretty pacey to me, and it just wasn't working. But there was no kind of other option. I do think we'd kind of need to try and get down the wings and possibly play the ball into Agudelo high, just get a lofty crossing and try and see if we can win anything there. Then maybe have Rowe feeding off it if he doesn't win it, or Caldwell arriving into the box late. There was other options, but we just seemed to keep going for the same thing over and over again. Other things that I noted as well, we kept trying to play out from the back, and I don't think that was. I don't really see it as having any real ball playing defenders. Now maybe Farrell and Somi as such, yes, but playing from Claude and Tony, that's not. I don't think it's a strength of ours, and I don't think it's something we should be doing. So if we are going to start playing out from defence, then maybe give the ball straight to Zahibo. Zahibo drops back and collects the ball from there, because his distribution did look to be fairly good at times during the match. But I do not think that I can't see it as for me at the moment. I just don't see it as a strength. It could be going forward. I'm not too sure, but yeah, just during the game, I just kept seeing it over and over again. They were pressing really high as well, due to the fact that we were down to 10 men and then 9, and it just seemed to be causing us more problems than it did anything else. So playing out the back, especially when we went down to 10 men, possibly wasn't the best thing for us to do. What else have we kind of noted here? So I can't, because the other points I've noted are kind of going on to players. So kind of just talk about the players. Now we'll go kind of from back to front and talk about each player individual. So obviously Turner starting in goal. Some people may have been surprised by this. I actually was surprised by it as well. Brad says that even if Cropper was not ill, that Turner earned the spot as well. So that was kind of pleasing to see as well. It wasn't kind of just, that he kind of was given to him because Cropper was injured. And I kind of think that, he didn't, I don't think he performed too bad at all. I do think that he had a decent performance, and I don't think we should drop him for the next match. I think he should be given another opportunity as well now. I would say that his distribution was fairly poor though as well. I don't think he's the best distributor of the ball. Again, he seems to dwell a little bit too much sometimes, and I just think if his distribution was quicker and more accurate, there was potentially times where we had a player free on the left or we had a player free on the right, and we had an overload. It just needs to be that thing. Hopefully, will just come within time. For right back, to be fair, I don't think he did terrible. I kind of, was a little bit worried about him going forward, but I don't think he gave a bad account of himself at all. I think he actually played pretty well. I think he actually had the second highest passing accuracy of the team as well. He had a fair amount, he had a lot of touches as well. I think it was like 55 in total. And I think he had a passing accuracy of about 78%, which was, I think, second highest as well. So he actually had an impressive game for me. Sorry, I'd give Turner a 7.5 out of 10. From giving a 7. I think he had a. I don't think he was at fault for a lot. Again, still massive improvements needed, and I don't think he's fully fit enough to play that role throughout the whole 90 minutes. But I think he's getting there. He is trying. So there was positives to take from Farrell's game. As I said, I don't think he made too many massive, drastic mistakes. Obviously, that may happen in the next game when potentially he might be playing in a different position. But for this game, I think he was one of the better players, obviously, in the team. The back two, I can't really rate. I mean, Tony looked okay. To be fair, he looked like he was doing a good job. But obviously he got a red card, so I'm just going to have to give him a rating. He didn't really do enough to kind of get me to give him a rating. So it's not applicable rating. Claude, obviously, he wasn't doing terrible up until the fact he kept giving away, and the red card for me just not. I gave him a 1 purely because it was a stupid mistake. The first yellow card was, fair enough. Them kind of tackles happen sometimes. That kind of thing happens in the game, and he took the yellow card for the team there. But then towards the end of the first half, he kind of almost rugby tackled somebody. American football tackled somebody, or rugby tackled if you're from the UK, to the ground. He kind of almost. And I was just thinking, what are you doing? You're already on a yellow card. What is running through your head that made you think that was a smart move? For whatever reason, that should have been a red there for me. For whatever reason, the referee decided not to give a red card, and then in the second half, I mean, I understand sometimes, it's a split-second decision what you're going to do. He was getting done for pace because he's not the fastest, and he decided to basically pull the play down. For me, if that's a goal-scoring opportunity, you got to think, Turner possibly could have pulled a save off there, could have gone out for a corner. There's, multiple different things that could have happened, and it wouldn't have gone, led to us conceding a goal. But for him to concede another yellow card and then to be sent off, that then leads us to 9 men. Even if we did concede a goal, it is easier for us to score if there is 10 people on the pitch rather than 9. So for me, you just let it. If you're not on a yellow, then yes, you bring the player down potentially, as a tactical foul. But if you're already on a yellow card, you're just gonna have to trust the keeper's gonna do something there. If you've done for pace, it was so frustrating. So for me, that's why he got a 1. He wasn't playing terrible up until that point, but he wasn't playing good either. There was. I think he was on I would have given maybe a 4.5, but it just dragged it down to a 1 because it was such a stupid foul to give away. He could have just let the Turner. You know what Turner would have done in that situation? He could have pulled off a save, and then we got 10 men, and we could have still, I don't know, potentially turned the game around, but we will now never know. Somi on the left hand side. While going forward, I think he was okay. He was a little bit of a threat, and he offered it, but he just got caught out of position far too many times for my liking. It was far too easy. He did actually get done for pace a few times as well, which Philadelphia have got a few pacey players in their ranks. But that's purely because he was just caught on his heels. He wasn't in the right position to defend. So he's got a lot of learning to do, a lot of adapting to do. I still think he will be a massive asset for the team. I do think that he will be a massive asset. You can kind of see potentially that he's got that potential about him, and I think eventually once he learns, hopefully he'll just learn quickly though, because we can't have another too many more performances like that. But yeah, 5.5 for Somi for me. Scotty Calderwell in the middle, one of my favourites. Not everyone's favourite, but one of my favourites. I think he had I think it was the highest percentage of pass accuracy at 80%. Again, had quite a lot of touches on the ball, and I don't think he didn't do too much wrong really. He was trying to get forward where he could. He was still trying to press. That's one thing I do like about Scott Caldwell. He does press, and he does run around pretty much for the full 90 minutes. He gives as much as he can, and I'm sure he's one of the players that does leave the field absolutely exhausted, and that's how you should be really. Yeah, he was trying to play. He was trying his hardest, but there's a mountain to climb, and he couldn't do it all by himself. But I think he did well. The lad did well, and I've gave him a 6.5 for that. Zahibo, don't know what the people are going to think of this. I'll give him a 7. I do think he performed rather well. He was most tackles won, most dribbles completed as well, which I was quite surprised about, and he also had the most touches as well. He also had a fairly good pass accuracy, and he wasn't. I think he did do well. I don't think he broke up the play as much as he could have done from a defensive point of view. I don't, he did win the most tackles, but I believe that was like 4 out of the team because nobody just seemed to figure out how to tackle. But yeah, I don't think he was kind of. I like the fact that he didn't roam a lot. He was kind of in that position for the whole match, but I don't think he was breaking up play as much as he could have been doing. But I think from an outlet point of view, I think he's really good. He got the ball, he distributed it quite nicely. He was trying to be quite quick with his passes. There was a few times he got caught on the ball, but yeah, I was actually quite impressed with Zahibo. I know there's a lot of people out there that weren't overly impressed with him, but for me, I think he did kind of almost his job to a T. But he just needs to be breaking on that play a little bit more now. He needs to maybe looking at what Kante's doing in the Premier League. All the defensive midfielders trying to kind of see what they do, because he's there to kind of offer us that shield in front of that back line. I don't think he kind of did that. Not obviously saying he's at fault for any of the red cards, but if he potentially was doing that role slightly better, then obviously could have been a different story on the day. We've then got Penia. I'll give him a 6 because I do think he was fairly impressive for the short cameo role that he did, and I kind of thought he could have done potentially more if he would have left on a bit longer. But yeah, I can't really say much more than that. He looked good, and I kind of wish we would have kind of seen more minutes from him, and I'm sure in the future we will be seeing a few more minutes for him on the pitch. Hopefully a full game next game. Diego, I wasn't. Diego. He wasn't. I don't know. Again. I know he's a small player, but he just, for me, sometimes he just get pushed off the ball far too easily. So I do think he possibly needs to work on his strength, or possibly have quicker feet sometimes. But saying that, I've seen times when he has got really quick feet. So I'm not too sure. He just looked off this game. I'm not too sure what that was. I'm not too sure why that was. Obviously, we keep trying to play him in the number 10 position. Maybe that's not his strength. Maybe he does prefer out wide. I'm not too sure. He just didn't really seem like he was fully fit. Maybe I don't know what it was. He just didn't seem right. His game just seemed to be off. He was almost like second guessing himself, and he didn't seem as confident as what you thought he was. You could see he was getting frustrated with himself as well. So he's going to be obviously pivotal for us throughout the season. No doubt about that, but this game he just had an off game, and hopefully he can come back in the next game and get back to his old ways. Bunbury, as I kind of mentioned on before, out on the kind of wing, and didn't really do that much for me, but I was fairly impressed when he actually did go up top, and he did seem to look to try and create some chances, and he actually looked a bit like a striker. Obviously, still not saying he's going to score a goal or hit the target, but he did kind of try and hold the ball up and bring other players into play, and he was. I've given him a 6.5 on that basis because he was fairly impressive. Agudelo, I've given him a 5.5. I don't really feel like he contributed that much. He wasn't holding the ball. It almost seemed the ball was played into him, and he just looked to kind of do it himself. I don't know if that's again because we were as a man down, and we felt that he wasn't getting the support, or we weren't getting up quick enough with him. But yeah, just almost looked like he was a lone ranger up there. And it is hard for him. It is hard for him. But I felt that when Bunbury went up there, he was playing the game differently. He was, almost knew that we only had 10 men or 9 men at one point, and kind of how to kind of deal with the situation better. So yeah, wasn't overly impressed with Agudelo in that game for sure. Rowe, Bite, and obviously Anibaba who came on. Anibaba, to be fair, I thought he looked pretty decent. To be fair, and he's even without the obviously the fact he's going to have to play the next match because of the suspensions. I think he did. He definitely did. For me, I think it's going to be hard to if he has another game where he plays on a similar par. I think it's going to be quite hard for one of the lads to get back into the team because I think he did really well. I think he did exactly what he meant to do. He was stopping balls. He was big. He was fairly fast, mobile, which I think sometimes we lack at the back. And yeah, I'll give him a 6. He impressed me. I think it's if I was Tony or Claude, I'd be kind of thinking I'm out for a game now. He's going to come in. If he performs well again, do both of them. Do one of them. Not make the next team. It's a question that obviously Brad will have to answer. But for me, he's the one that impressed me the most. So Brandon Bye, I've given him a 6.5. It was a short cameo, but again, I think he was very impressive. Tracked back as well, which I like to see. He's tracking back as much as he can do. Good distribution going forward. Tried to cling out to that wide spot when he could do, but then cut inside when he saw that Farrell was trying to go on the overlap. Looked like he's already got a good brain for the game. Looks like he's already kind of fitting into the kind of philosophy that Brad wants quite well. And I think he does look really, really talented, and I'm very, very pleased with his debut performance. Now, Rowe, I'm not too sure. I was still caught in two minds of how I thought he performed. I still don't understand why he didn't start, and obviously there's reasons behind that. And I'm not one here to dispute why Brad didn't start him, but obviously I've got an opinion, and like everyone out there has, and my opinion's kind of different from yours. That's kind of why I want you to get involved with the conversation, guys. Let me know over on social media what you thought. You could completely disagree with me, but make sure you're backing up why you disagree. Don't just say, Mike, you're a complete idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. You're from England. You know nothing about soccer. Leave it to the experts. But yeah, still undecided. I did see glimmers of promise. I've given him a 6, but I've changed it from a 6 to a 4 and everything in between. But I'm still going to go for a 6 because I do think that when he did come on, he did try to create. He was basically he was screaming for the ball. He wanted the ball because he wanted to try and create something. I just don't think there was enough players on the pitch to kind of try and do something then. But yeah, 6. That's all I'm saying on that one. So yeah, that's it. That's kind of how my opinion on the game. Obviously, you've got completely different from me, but I still think there's definitely positives to take from it. Yes, we've lost 2 players, and it's going to be hard to come back now. We're going to have to really reshuffle the team, but there were still positives there. Bunbury playing up top did look like he knew what he was doing, which any day you don't see throughout the season. Turner had a decent game in goal. He did play well apart from his distribution. Farrell didn't look too bad at right back. Bye impressed when he came on. Calderwell and Zahibo, I don't think it was a really a terrible performance on them. Jago just needs to be a little bit more defensive minded, especially when Scotty kind of goes on his little walkabout sometimes. But it wasn't bad. Pinea, we've seen the kind of little bits of things to come really from him, and I'm quite still excited about him. But yeah, obviously still a lot of negatives and things we need to work on as well. So hopefully that's kind of all being addressed. Obviously we've already seen that Friedel got them in on Monday. Monday was supposed to be rest day, but because of the of things he's seen, for me obviously he's getting them in on Monday, which is positive. I would like to add that I think if we would have got into half time at 0-0, it could have been a different game conceding. But I did like to see that we did kind of seem to nullify the kind of things that Brad did seem to almost get them in, and we did. I think we did well. We did well to nullify them, and for a good amount of time in that second half, and then obviously they just started breaking us down. Went down to 9 men. It was just pretty much game over then. But yeah, I was still fairly thought it was resolute, and I think the players were trying to stick to Brad's game plan in the second half, and eventually obviously when we went down to 9 men, it got a little bit too much, and it was just really hard for the team, but definitely think there's positives there. So now, obviously, we've got a game at Foxborough this time. We're obviously at home. Got the home advantage. hopefully the supporters will get behind the team no matter what happens. Just really, start make yourself heard. If you're at the game, just make yourself heard. I mean, I'm staying obviously over here in the UK. I think the last game was on at I think it was midnight till about 2. I stayed up from midnight to 2. I had work the next day. Wasn't the smartest move on my front, but I was there. No one heard me obviously because they can't. I was trying to be quiet because the wife and kids obviously not going to be able to impress. But I was there with you in spirit. So if you do attend the game, then obviously I'd love to go and attend the game. Then make yourself heard. Support the team, get behind them. For me, I think the way we'll line up, I'm kind of hoping anyway. I don't think this is how we will line up. This is kind of how I wished we'd line up. I don't think this is how we will line up though. I kind of wish we'd go for a 4-1-3-2 formation. I've gone for Turner in goal, Boy at right back. We've got Farrell and Anibaba as centre back Paris. We've got Somi going to give him an opportunity at left back. Zahibo playing in that defensive midfield role. In front of him, we've got Fundunges, Diego out on the right hand side, Rowe in the centre, and Pinilla out on the left, and Bunbury and Nemeth up top. I think that's how we should line up. I think we should go for 2 up top. Don't understand. We're playing at home. We shouldn't be, negative. We shouldn't have 2 holding midfield players. Yes, Caldwell played well, and potentially you put Caldwell in there and you don't have Zahibo. That's obviously cool, but I don't think we need 2 holding midfield players when we're playing at home. It's too negative for my liking. So I think the fact that we've got Zahibo there just in front of the back 2, we've got then because this is how I see it in my head. So in theory, we've got a back 4. We've got a player sitting in front of them. If Somi goes, Anibaba pushes out, Zahibo slots in. We've still got a back 4. We've still got a back 4 potentially there if we get caught. If Bai goes, Frel moves out to right back. Zahibo slots back in. That's how I see it working. Potentially, we should always have potentially 4 at the back, or if not, there's going to be 3. Both wing backs won't generally go at the same time, and if they do, then again, Frel moves out. Anibaba moves out, Zahibo slots in, so we've still got a back 3. If both of them do go, Zahibo needs to know he's got to hold and stay in front of that back 2, so we've still got a defensive line of 3 there if we are caught on the break, which we kept getting caught on the break last time against Philadelphia. On the bench, obviously, I've got Cropper on the bench, Tierney, Agadello, Calderwell, Lee Win. If he's training now, does he get a shot on the bench? Then I've got, say his name, Sami So, the other defender. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his name. And then I'm not too sure. I've got obviously another space. I think Wright possibly gets the nod, but do we possibly take? Is it Vang? Well, the youngster that contributed in pre-season. Does he get? I don't know. I think probably Wright would probably be the best call in that case. But obviously, I'm not too sure. And I do apologise for any pronunciations of the names because I'm just awful. I am awful. And if anyone wants to phonetically spell any names out for me, then that would be absolutely awesome. Especially Diego's. How do you say his name? Fundunges? Fungunges? Fundunges? I don't know. I don't know how you say it. Diego. Go Diego, go. Scoreline. Many will laugh at me for this. Many will laugh at me, but I'm a man of my word, and I will support Revs forever. There would be never any switching for any team ever. I would just won't. That's it now. This is my team. That's how it goes. Once I support a team, that is it forever. You are my team, and I will back you to the high heavens as long as you're putting in commitment, dedication, and everything in between. I'm going for Revs 3-1 victory. 3-1 victory. Yes, I'll let you all just get the laughs out of your system. It'll be good. We'll calm down. Right, okay. 3-1 Revolution. Nemeth with a brace and Rowe with a goal as well. That's what I'm going for. That's my prediction. And I'm sticking with it. Come on, Revs. Please don't make me look like a complete idiot. I just feel that potentially if we kept 11 men on the field, we could have given Philadelphia a game. 3-1. No, I'm sticking with it. 3-1. Nemeth with a brace and Rowe with a goal as well. That's what I'm going for. I bet you Nemeth won't even start now. I can't see him starting. If we were offering him for a trade out, then we're not going to start him, are we? So, okay, let me just rethink. Okay, I'll go for Pinilla with the first goal, Rowe with the second goal, and Anibaba with the third. There we go. That's my prediction. 3-1 Revs. Pinilla, Rowe, and Anibaba. That's my goal scorers. There we go. I'm sticking with it. 3-1 Revolution. So, guys, that I think pretty much wraps up today's episode podcast thing. And I'm trying to keep these pretty short. I don't have any guests obviously at the moment either. So and I will potentially look to get guests on. But yeah, hopefully this one's been a little bit more smoother than the last one. I don't know. I might even edit some bits out or try and edit some bits in. I haven't really left any bits into editing, have I? Like, oh, we'll cut to Brad and this is his thoughts on the game. Probably should have done that, shouldn't I? Got to remember that. If anyone could let me know, remind me of that for the next one, that would be awesome. I do try and record these on a Thursday. I don't know. Thursday seems to be good for me at the moment, and obviously it's kind of in the middle of the 2 games ish, a little bit. So yeah. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed it and have kind of done enough to obviously get you to hit that subscribe button over on YouTube or on SoundCloud. If anyone could help me with how I get it up onto other platforms, that would be immensely helpful because I suck at this. But hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I will obviously join you guys next Thursday for the next one. Obviously, if you are subscribed on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button, notification, so you know when the next one goes live. If you're on SoundCloud, make sure you've got your notifications turned on as well, because it's a bit unpredictable. It's probably going to be every Friday. I think it's going to be every Friday I'm going to upload, actually, every Friday. Record on a Thursday, upload on a Friday. Yeah, we'll go with that. So hopefully this will be in your subscription boxes on a Friday going forward. But yeah, rambling as always, waffle, waffle, waffle. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one. As I said, any feedback would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, I will catch you next Friday for the next episode of the NE Revs UK podcast. Thank you guys, and enjoy your weekend.